And when they found out, they didn't want a bigger cut.
And that was in exchange for what?
Protection. Let us know what's name when you get ready to raid.
Is this the 10th precinct? Or different precincts?
It was different precincts. Back in the 70s, just then there was a lot of corruption going on.
So basically, you were here in Detroit running the business, and they were up in Southfield, kind of.
Like I said, that's where he stayed at.
Okay.
He didn't go home that much.
Wait, Eddie didn't go home that much?
He didn't stay out there all the time because he had other places to stay.
What about Courtney? What was
Courtney just stayed? He went around with me and Eddie that much. We were running into him every now and then. Courtney didn't be around me and Eddie.
Okay.
He just did. Because the things that me and Eddie did, he didn't do.
16, 17 years old when he really starts fucking around with them. And I think you've heard him speak. His mom and Eddie had a really deep relationship, right? So showing this big kingpin that as Eddie Jr. spoke on it a little bit, that, you know, Eddie not having a mom, Butch's mom in some ways kind of feel that void to him, and it also again gives him inside. This guy's found a big mega, you know, kingpin. He's a human being with all the issues and dramas that people have. Like this. Anyway, so he don't know Eddie and them. He watching and he goes into it in the dock. And he's seeing this young guy is seeing these niggas all of a sudden driving these Cadillacs, making all this money in the neighborhood, right? It's a situation where 5-0's getting all this money, right? This is post buyout. So Eddie has sent 5-0 and Dolph and told them, niggas, y'all do your own thing. I'm done. I'm a wholesaler now, right? Butch hires, 5-0 hires Butch to work for him, running the errands and, you know, working for him. One particular night, 5-0, who had a great love for women, is entertaining himself with a broad, which is made like a $50,000 collection. Because this kind of story could give some scope of the money, and then again, just the nigga shit, it is real. These is niggas. These was just some niggas. These were regular guys all of a sudden in a real crazy situation. He's picked up $50,000 of 5-0's money. He goes to give 5-0 his fucking money. 5-0 in there fucking. Butch pounded on the door saying, I got the money, because he's young and he wants to get rid of this $50,000, not be carrying it around. Understandably correct, right? 5-0 having fun and like, motherfucker, stop bothering me. Butch continues to pester him, man, come get this money. And 5-0's response is, you asshole, you made me stop having fun to get this fucking money. You fired, you dumb motherfucker. Don't come back to work tomorrow. So now this kid then lost his job working for the crew. 5-0 ain't thinking no more about it because he just doing his 5-0 life, right? Eddie finds out about what happened, and he basically was like, you know what, Butch, come and start riding with me. He's like, 5-0 should have done that to you, man. He thinks it's kind of funny because he thinks it's just 5-0. It is. It's funny because he's like, that motherfucker 5-0 is a motherfucker. You know? He was 5-0 they fired you because you interrupted them fucking. And Butch, you know, it's like they say, like, the story been told to me, and, you know, he can obviously unpack it more, but the high points of it, yeah, basically, and that's what actually was his break. Again, another of the many ironies of this story, that tragedy turns to triumph.
Tragedy, yeah.
And this story is full of that, of tragedy turning to triumphs.
Wow.
So his if he doesn't get fired for 5-0, then never would have ascended as he did in this organization.
When I was about 18 years old, Eddie and the whole crew, we all growed up in the valley,
Okay.
which is not far from the Fox Theater. At the time, I was working. I was doing my little hustling, but I wasn't selling no drugs. I was working at the gas station. Been knowing Eddie, 5-0 and all my life. So I used to ask Eddie for a position. He told me he couldn't do it because, you understand, he was close to my mother. So I started hustling anyway with 5-0.
Now wait a minute. 5-0, that's Ronald Garrett.
Ronald Garrett.
Okay.
And so me and him, you understand, was real close. Like I say, we always close anyway because we was from growing up. And so me and him had a disagreement about something. So when we fell out, then I got with Eddie.
Well, hold on. Now when you say y'all had a disagreement, is it true, this street legend, that the reason why you and 5-0 had a beef, you was out collecting 5-0 money, 5-0 was in bed with one of his women and got disturbed? Tell the truth for y'all.
5-0, you understand, was a big freak.
All right.
And I was collecting up all the money. That's all I did. Drop the drugs off and pick the money up. I picked up $50,000, took it to him, and he got upset because I disturbed him. So I told him, you understand, he can hate. Don't even worry about it. And so me and him fell out about that. So when we fell out, Eddie heard about it. He went to joking about it, man. He said, "You mean tell me that big freak, you understand, don't want to take the money, you understand?" I said, "You know how crazy 5-0 is." So anyway, 5-0. So Eddie said, "Man, I got a job for you." So this is what I've been waiting on. I said, "What's the job, man?" He said, he said, this was in '74. He said, "I got a brand new Eldorado parked in Omaha Airport in Nebraska." He said, "The keys will be in the parking lot at the attendance." And he said, "All I want you to do is pick the car and bring it back. Just do the speed limit." So he gave me a plane ticket, and I went there, brought the car back. And when I got back, you understand, I come to find out I had a truck full of drugs, you know. And so, like I say, from that point on, that's what I started doing. Transport.
So Eddie flew you out to Omaha, Nebraska. The car was waiting for you.
Right.
You did what you were supposed to do.
And brought it
You
back.
ain't know the package was in the car till you got back to
Till I got back to Detroit. He just told me don't do no speeding.
Okay. So when you start working with Eddie, let's go back to the New York thing. So when did you start going to New York?
After the bus on Hubbard. That's when I started going to New York. Me and Peter Gunn was the two road men. And Dean, Robert Robertson,
Okay.
he did some trips too. But I was the main one. I was making trips back to back, going up to New York, dealing with the Gambino's family. And like I say, you understand, we had to be on a time basis. They'll give you a time to be there, and they'll tell you where to drop the car off at. And we go to a hotel, a certain hotel, City Square. That's where we would go. And then when we go there, you understand, they'll call me in the room and tell me where to come at another location. And the key will be in the car. And I get in the car, I got protection from the time I get in that car to the time I get over to George Washington Bridge. And then when I get on the other side, which is in Jersey, I will be on my own. I used to make those trips sometimes twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
Y'all was running like that?
Yeah. I can go pick up a load and get to Detroit, and it'd be sold before I even get there.
So, now this is right when y'all was at y'all peak, right?
Yep.
This is when it was going down.
Right.
And
And the drugs that we was getting,
okay.
we was paying $60,000 a key.
Okay.
At that time, they weren't using those scales. We were measured out with quarter spoons. We was getting anywhere from 200 to 225 quarters of raw. We'd take it, pack it up in quarters, in bags of 25 in each bag. Take each bag and put 175 quarters on 25 quarters. That made 200. That was the key.
Say, wait a minute, let's slow down, because I think people when they be hearing about how y'all was able to make so much money, you saying you take 25 quarters of the raw.
Put
putting 175 quarters
a lactose.
A mix on it.
Right.
And it was still A1?
After we do that too, the person can put a 3 on it for P.
After y'all done already hit it.
That's right.
With 125, 175 on 25.
That's right. We was taking one key, making 10 keys.
What's up, family? It's your man, CRB Jr., Courtney Robert Brown Jr., here at Motown Mafia Podcast, of course, the Big Boss Filmworks production. We here at Big Boss, Brother Lou, the other half of Big Boss, we are here with heavy hearts. The podcast world and the African-American true podcast world really took a loss. We were informed a couple of days ago that Brother D, Derek, of Mogul Mindset had transitioned. The Mogul State of Mind, actually. Big D was known as Brother Derek. He transitioned a few days ago. This thing called life is really tenuous. His channel was really growing and exploding. I hope and pray that maybe some of his people can find a way to keep it going. It was a real honor. The brother was just here in Detroit, had me and Lou down. Did a great interview that's got great response with myself, talking about Eddie and back in the day. He interviewed Big 50, Steve Fishman, BJ Chambers, I think Brother Boone, and a few others from this whole Detroit situation. And he was just doing great work. He was a brother with a great heart. We have reached back out to him and trying to do some more collaborations in the future. But that was not in the cards, so again, we are here at Big Boss Filmworks Motown Mafia Podcast. Want to give our deepest condolences to Big D's family and to the whole Mogul State of Mind family. We wish him well, and may he rest in peace.
And why would you have a meeting where you need to get everybody?
Yeah, we had a problem. We had any kind of problem, we would get together.
And was there ever problems?
There's always a problem. You're still when you're dealing with drugs.
And what kind? Can you tell me a time when you guys?
People that want to come in the neighborhood, want to try to take over certain different spots and stuff like that. That was the only biggest problem we had.
Who tried to take over from y'all?
Just newcomers.
Do you remember any of them?
No, I can't call them names at the time. Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like a YBI or.
No, we didn't have no problem. YBI went around at the time we was around.
Right. So, but I'm wondering if there was somebody like a group of
No, we didn't have no problem.
But there were other smaller time people who were trying to take over.
Try to just come in and try to take your business, but we didn't have no problems like that. Yeah, it's always somebody trying, but it won't be no problem.
So at these meetings, who was running the meetings?
We were all just every contributor talking about giving different ideas,
And what was the plan if somebody was trying to take over?
We just told them we had to do what we had to do, whatever it took to do it.
And then where we was making our money up is when we was selling mixed jive. We would take 1/4 of raw,
What is mixed?
mix quinine, dormians, and lactose.
Okay.
We would take 1/4 and put 80 quarters. We was putting a cut on it and made 81 quarters. And after those quarters, we do that, that's $45 a quarter. So that's the reason why we was making so much money.
So you was putting the 80
80,
and it was moving.
and it was moving.
Wow.
for a mixed job.
Unbelievable. So so I think that'll help people get to understand how y'all was able to run up.
That's the reason why we was able to do what we was doing. Me and Eddie would go through the projects and throw out 30, 40,000 at least twice a week.
30, 40,000.
Out the moon roof, the windows, or whatever. We would have traffic jammed on Woodward.
And what was you telling me? We was talking and you was saying about just kind of how in the glory days, guys might just stand on the corner hoping to see you and Eddie drive by.
Yeah, we used to come through the neighborhood at least every day, if not twice a day. And we'd be certain corners where we would turn, like where the Columbia Bar, where all the hoes and prostitutes used to be at. Because back during that time, man, that's where all your hustlers come from, down in the valley, down from the Brewster Projects. And like I say, I haven't never seen this much money in a neighborhood in my life. It'll never happen again. Because back then, it was no vacant lots nowhere in the city. Ever since that crack epidemic came, that's the reason why, you understand, there's so many vacant lots. It didn't happen until them rocks started selling rocks. But I'm telling you, man, it was so much money in Detroit, man. And then we was the only one getting money. We was about the number one. But it was so many niggas down there in that neighborhood getting money. I'm talking about on a daily basis.
So what were some of the other characters from back in that day that you think down there around that Rush, John?
The Godfather. Eddie Seals. Times Square Bob. Willie Lee. Buddy was one of the first person started selling drugs down there. He was an older guy. They used to call him the little fella. This was in 68, 69. This was before Eddie, But like I say, it's so many guys that was getting money down there. I can't remember all of them, but it was so many of them. You understand? I'm talking about getting money. 50, 60,000 every day. Al Finch, the Gary brothers, Zach.
You were saying, it ain't an exaggeration. Obviously, y'all was getting the most money. But you were saying it probably was, what, $1 million? You think $1 million a day?
It probably was more than that in the run of a day with all the guys that was getting money.
Wow.
I'm talking about it was crazy. But it was the good days, though. And see, when all that old, and then you talking about hustlers, those pimps, they was getting money.
And you were saying the tops, the people, what kind of money?
The runners was getting $2 off a pack.
And how much could a good runner make in a day?
They was making 20,000, 30,000 a day, a runner.
Wow.
And that's no lie. It was some hell of a guys down there selling stuff, man. TD, Knight, Top Dog, yeah. The whole Robert family. Pat Robb, they was getting money. All of them.
Yeah, they all kind of famous. And so there was a connection.
Butch Harris, Reno, from the projects.
So most of the people from the projects kind of knew.
Strata Bush, Freaky Steve, Red George, Big Nose.
He kind of famous and known around here. When did you and Freaky Steve cross paths?
I've been knowing Steve a long time. When Steve first came home from jail, he went to jail for, I forgot what it was. But when he came out, you understand, I got with him because we was close. And he asked me what was I doing. I told him I had some work if you want some, but he had never sold no stuff then. I gave him an ounce of raw. And from that, he went on. And then he started strutting them off. He was the first one that started selling that raw.
Street history there. Freaky Steve is who started Strata Butch off.
Right. Steve is the first one that started selling raw.
Out of that clique.
That's right. They call themselves the Three the Hard Way.
And so that was
Freaky Steve, Strata, and Red George.
Wow. Three the Hard Way.
Yep. And you can't forget about Dodo.
Okay. And all respect, I believe you said that Dodo's brother, Hoggy, just passed?
Yeah, Hoggy just passed a few days ago,
Rest in peace to Hoggy and Dodo's family.
Yeah,
So,
but
so what you know about Dodo? Because Dodo famous, everybody kind of around town.
he was real quiet, man. But he been a businessman all the time. You know, he had a restaurant. His family, you understand, for a long time. But Dodo was real quiet. What he did, you know, he had a lot of connection with the Eastern Market and stuff. You know, he was getting money.
Because he owned.
He didn't want to own all that property down in Brush Park down there, you know, until he got killed, you know. Because I had property down there on Brush too. I had a few buildings down there too, on Brush and Winder and stuff, you know.
All what now is the high rent district.
That's right. Yep. But like I say, you understand, that neighbor down there was something. I mean, you talking about back in them days, those hoes was the cleanest women and sharpest women you ever seen in your life. I'm talking about it's not like it is now.
Right.
But I'm just saying, though, man, you understand, hey, it's day and night the way the life is now and it was then, you know. But like I say, but there'll never be nobody like Eddie. Eddie was one of a kind, man. You know, he was the type of person, you understand, he didn't tell nobody that somebody worked for him. Hey, don't nobody work for me. We hustle together.
Okay.
You know, and that's the way he was. We was getting so much money that it was unbelievable. We used to go to the Cadillac dealership and buy 10, 15 Cadillacs at once and pay cash for it.
And you've been with Eddie, so you ain't saying what you think.
Well, I'm telling you what I know and what I did. Me and that man have been all over the world together.
So where's the only place you and Eddie went together?
We done been all through Europe. You understand? Amsterdam, London, Frankfurt. That's up in Germany, you know, but we done been Paris.
Wait a minute. Tell them about what you say one time y'all was over in Europe and y'all, what you say y'all took 50,000 and somehow y'all.
The first day we got there, we took 50,000. It was like I said, we had about 6 or 7 guys that was with us, you know, and so we was already in London at the Hilton in London, and he said, "Man, let's go up in Amsterdam, up there, up in the red light district." So we always game to go, you know. So we went up there. We flew to Amsterdam on Canal Street. This is where you can walk on both sides of the streets and window shop for bitches.
Yeah.
I mean, we must have walked right past you. And the next day, we had to send somebody to send some money back to us because, had to find somebody, because we couldn't have the kind of money we wanted to bring to us on the Western
Y'all
Union.
had spent the 50,000
Yeah,
you took.
yeah. We
Now
had,
y'all need
cause
some
we
more
had
money.
we had did some shopping and stuff like that. Every time when we stayed in London, we left there and went to Paris. Left Paris and we stopped in Africa. But what would happen when we got there, we had got completely broke.
So how would y'all get some more money?
We were sending people back with passports to meet us in the next destination.
So y'all called back to the States and say, hey, meet me, we about to be in.
We left there, we had to meet us in Rio de Janeiro after we left Africa.
So wait a minute, y'all started in Europe, then you went to Africa,
Africa,
and then you go from Africa
to Rio de
to
Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro.
And when we got in Rio, we didn't have nothing but our jewelry, because everybody else had got homesick. They went home. Me and Eddie kept on going. When we got there, we didn't even have enough money to get a hotel fare. So we gave the guy, we showed them the jewelry, told them the situation and stuff. They took our jewelry, put it in the safe and stuff, and we had someone to understand to fly to be there the next day.
Y'all flew somebody from Detroit down to Rio.
Yep. And the next day, we had somebody to bring us another 100,000, because me and him stayed in South America from Rio de Janeiro. We went down to every country in South America, from Rio de Janeiro all the way to the Panama Canal.
So did y'all go through Colombia?
We went through Colombia. We stayed a lot of time in Bogota.
Was the cocaine business already up and going?
Yes, it was, but it wasn't where it was, in the 80s, but yeah, it was. Yeah, because we went to one of those villas, you understand, where it was processing. We seen the little kids and the women, you understand, smashing the leaves, yeah, getting the paste out the leaves, yeah. We went in there, you know. Yeah, like I say, me and him, you understand, we didn't did it, man. And like I say, man, you know, as far as like the way the feds was on us, everywhere we went, they followed us. And what they was trying to get an income tax case, because we were spending so much money. We'll go and field a cornfield up in New York. That was a place just like Cousins. We'll go in there and spend 70,000, 80,000, but everywhere we go, we was tipping the salesmen 10,000 or something like that. They wasn't gonna tell no federal agents how much money we was spending. They was covering all that. You know, everywhere we went, they was trying to get a case, but they couldn't ever get in there, man. But Eddie paid his taxes. That's one thing I say about him. He paid his taxes.
Okay, so now you right there, but you were fortunate, right? Because when the indictment came down, so let's go back. The indictment started, according to the feds, the indictment started with Farrah being...
Farrah Lee was the first person that got busted in the whole crew. At that time, you understand,
you was already
I was
there?
with 5-0 then.
You was at 5-0
right.
at that point.
Yeah, when she got busted, you understand. And like I say, when she got busted, that's another thing too. Out of the whole situation, the only thing I hated about that situation was because Farrah Lee, she was a stand-up person. I mean, she did not, you understand, say not one word, and she had a habit. I mean, she did not open her mouth. And then because she was sending mail to Eddie, they was letting it get through, but they was stopping all the mail coming from him, making her feel like that he wasn't, you know, thinking about her.
Trying to break her
Yeah,
spirit.
right. And like I say, she didn't even go through that, man. And like I say, she did all that time, and just, you know, she made it home and everything, you know, and just he just didn't do what to do for her what I felt like he should have did.
Okay.
You know.
So, and then I think the Fed said then, so the conspiracy they all went down on started with the bust in New York with Farrah Lee, ended with the raid on Hubble. But you ducked, you did, they missed you.
They missed a lot of things with me because they thought, you understand, I really wasn't doing nothing because of the age I was.
Because you was what,
17, 18 years old, right. So, you know, they looked over me. But like I say, after they found out what was going on, that's when I really started to, you understand, making moves. I was going to New York, copying, – 12, 13 years older than me. You know, but like I say, man, you know, we was close. We was close. Up to my father's growing up, we was close.
C-Dale, another name.
C-Dale, I mean, C-Dale around that same age, and Jap, we were around the same age, but they was a little faster than me. They was selling drugs and stuff, but I was working then, you know. But like I say, after I got in, you know, got in the crew, me and C-Dale was real close. Me and C-Dale was doing a lot of stupid shit, you know.
So what about, you was telling me about the time where Eddie and my father ended up being on TV and they was interviewing Eddie. How did you, where was you at when that got shown on TV?
When they had that interview with Eddie on Channel 4, me and C-Dale had been up tricking, getting high. C-Dale, you understand, had bad eyes. He couldn't see. You know, I was driving that black and orange Fleetwood at the time.
What did y'all call that?
The pumpkin. Yeah. And I fell asleep. We had been up about 2 or 3 days, and I fell out. C-Dale got up under the wheel, and some way or another the police pulled us over, coming up at Gratiot. And they pulled us over. When I woke up, you understand, they had us parked in front of 1300 Bovian. So they arrested us that same day. That's when they had the interview for Eddie. They came to say, y'all bosses on TV and brought the TV to us in the cell. That's how I found out that they had him on TV.
And y'all watched the interview on Channel 4 from
the cell.
From the cell.
From the cell.
You would see there.
Yeah.
Bubba Bell, he was another guy around. We didn't mention much.
He was the teller. We used to use him for the stash. He used to say, we had a Russell, he was another one.
Russell Clayton.
Yeah, Russell Clayton, right. And Box, he was like the mascot. He was an old junkie, but he had a lot of knowledge as far as with drugs. He's the one that introduced Eddie to John Claxton.
Now Claxton kind of famous in this town. You ever come across John Claxton?
Yeah, I met him, you understand, after he came home out of his first bit. And when he came home, you understand, you know, him and Eddie, you understand, he still had his house out in Palmer Park. And he was making moves and stuff, and Eddie was telling me, man, you got to slow down. He said, you know, Eddie was trying to pull his coat, but he wouldn't listen. He had caught another case. And he had to, you understand, get up.
Because he ended up fleeing the country.
That's right. Ain't nobody seen him from. Haven't seen him since. And then another person, as far as like him, Frank Matthews is another person, you understand, that I
Tell
know.
us about, because Frank Matthews, you know, he famous. They done documentaries and everything about him. Tell us about your interactions.
Okay, every Christmas, all the big number men, all the drug dealers would go to Vegas back in that time. That was the spot. This particular Christmas we was down there, the feds, you understand, rounded up all the drug dealers and had us all locked up.
So it's you, Eddie, my father.
The cell that I was in was me, your daddy, Eddie, Frank Matthews, I think Charlie Moe too, and it was a couple more people. But anyway, now Nicky Barnes wasn't there. He wasn't there.
You have had.
Yeah, because after the boat strike they had in New York, me and Eddie, we started dealing with people in New York, you know. Well, anyway, like I say, after that, Frank Matthews was in the cell, and when he got bounded out, you know what happened? He jumped, and ain't nobody seen him since. You know, that's the first time that I ever met him. Was when we was locked up together. And at that time, you understand, you know, you had to be 21 years old to be
in the casino.
Yeah, and now you know they arrested me for being a minor.
But then threw you in the cell with Eddie, my father.
Yeah, always, yeah. But like I say, you know, man, you know, it was rough. It was really pretty rough at that time, you know.
Wow.
Big Wingate, you know, he was a known figure in the city, you understand, 'cause he used to run a 20 grand motel, you know. Yeah, but like I say, man, you know, this city here ain't nothing like Detroit back in the day.
What about DeWitt? DeWitt, another one of the crew. We
DeWitt,
about him.
he was another guy that was dealing with us. It was at least about 10 guys that was our main guys that we were supplying. DeWitt, Inkster Jones, Chip on the east side, J.C. Rex. I did some build. Greg, the Nelson family. They was just their regulars, and I have did some business with, you understand, Hollywood Clay, and it's quite a few people that I can't remember their names, but I'm telling you some of the main people that we was dealing with was the Nelson family was doing a lot of business. Oh yeah, I can't forget Rudolph. Rudolph, you're still one of the main ones. Yeah, Charles Rudolph, he growed up with us, you know. Like I say, you understand, all of us real close, you know, like family, man. We really was. And then, you know, and we stuck together. And we didn't really have, we had problems, but we didn't really kind of problems people thought we had. Because, you understand, hey, when we had problems, we stopped it before it started. And 5-0, you understand, he was no joke.
The jail, what they keep you in, Bobby, you know, it's like you got to use the bathroom right there in the front of all of the guys. Bathroom is a bucket in your cell. That's the bathroom in your cell.
They know they need to cut this shit out.
Ain't no running water.
They need to cut that shit out.
You got to get your jug, fill up your jug with water. They come with the hose, stick the hose through the gate. And, you know, they're waiting on you.
You're talking about it's still like that today?
Today, now. Right? Now. The only way, like, you gotta pay some officers to maybe, you know, bring you water or bring you food from someplace else or, you know what I mean? And, like, your family gotta give them money. You know it is probably.
Oh yeah, I mean I get that part of the game. But
Like Fox Hill, they call that Fox Hell prison, man. That's hell. You know?
Wow.
Only what do you say? Heidi in Mexico jail. Worse
that's
than our
bad
jail.
company. When
Yeah.
you in company with Haiti and Mexico for jail,
Yeah.
Oh.
That's terrible, but yeah.
Oh, they keep you shackled.
Sometime, yeah, depending on like where they put you. Like if you in maximum security or wherever, sometime your hands will be free, but they always have your foot, you know?
shackles.
Yeah.
Whoa.
In the morning, when they bring you a cup of tea, they have like a garbage, like the 55-gallon drum garbage bin, right? That's what they make your tea in. They come around and they push that, and then they dip out, and you pour your tea. Your tea is be cold. Then the Kool-Aid, they bring around the same thing. Big garbage pail, big wooden spoon. Dip the Kool-Aid, no sugar. Yes.
Kool-Aid, no shit.
And the Kool-Aid hot.
And
The Kool-Aid hot and the tea cold.
Kool-Aid hot in the tea. Oh, jeez.
That's great shit there. Mexico and Haiti. Wow. That ain't good. Because I believe Haiti #1 worst jail, right?
I think so.
And Mexico close second. I know Mexico's jail's fucked up.
I remember when I used to know it. What do you think they have up between you and the prisoner? It's like a chicken wire fence.
Yeah.
That's it. They know.
And the same if you got some money and friends.
Exactly. You have that connection, they'll make it a little easier for you.
Yeah.
It's still hard, but it'll be a little easier.
Video game, flushing toilet,
TV.
washing machine.
No, in the visiting room, there's machines with popcorn, hamburgers, hot dogs, potato chips. Are you kidding me?
Y'all famous in the streets, y'all getting all kind of money. Now normally with that comes somebody gonna try to rob you, somebody gonna try to shake you down. Y'all didn't really go through that to deal with.
We had problems like that, but see, people saying, I done heard people saying, Eddie, you understand, they never could put no bodies on us.
Okay.
All right, but far as like that old hit squad, we ain't never had no fucking hit squad.
Y'all didn't find out.
No, we didn't have it. It wasn't necessary. We know niggas who did killings and stuff, but like I said, we ain't never had no problems like that because we had some problems and stuff. Cause one thing we always just say, when you hire a nigga to kill somebody, you got to turn around and look out for him. You got to watch him. So why even have problems like that? If you got problems, take care of it right then. So I ain't all that nobody having a hit squad, all that. We know them. AC Ducey, a whole lot of the guys, but like I say, hey, we have no fucking hit squad. And like I say, Adolf was another guy from the West Side.
He famous. Tell us about Adolf.
Adolf was a hell of a hustler. He was real quiet to himself, and he was a gentleman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I was talking to Harold, another old guy. And he was saying that Adolf ran in the same circles as y'all.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. Keith Johnson, you understand, he was a hell of a hustler. He had control all the number streets. You had problems when you came over there to see him. He was a hell of a guy.
All right. In this article back when Eddie and them first hit the paper, they talk about a guy named Jack Crawford. You know anything about Jack?
I know Jack. I know him good.
Did he hustle down there where y'all was at?
No, he was West Side mostly. Mostly West Side. He was handling packages, you know. Yeah, he was a nice guy.
What about Maurice Downs? He's in that article.
Yeah, he was the one that he moved to California. He was handling a lot. He was distributing stuff to a lot of guys in the city of Detroit.
You ever had any kind of dealings with Texas Slim?
No, I know him, but I ain't never had no dealing with him. You know, I know the house that Texas Slim had on the west side. You know, Eddie and us had this guy named Matt Frederick.
Yes,
he was a real estate guy.
Rest in peace, Matt
Right.
Frederick.
He the house that Texas Slim had, it was up for sale, and he took Eddie and us over there to take a look at it. And we were in the basement, you understand. The basement, you understand, with a lot of bullet holes in the basement walls and stuff, and he told us that was used to be his house, you know. But he never did no business with him, but I heard of him and stuff, you know.
What was it? Maurice Downs.
Maurice Downs, he handled a lot of big weight, you know. Like I say, he wasn't no low level dealer, you know. That was Butch Harris, man. Yeah.
Did you know Butch Harris?
Yeah, I know him real good. Yeah.
And those guys that went out to California,
Yeah.
got some things.
Yeah.
They even made some movies and all.
Yeah.
Are you and Eddie used to go to Vegas frequently? Is that right?
We used to go there quite a bit. Back at that time, Goldfarb, the bonding agency, they had interest in the Aladdin Casino.
Right.
So anytime we wanted to go down there, we got everything free except for our phone call. Long. All them groups used to come to 20 grand at that time.
Right.
Back in that time, you understand, man, they used to go to Henry's, 20 grand, Felton Blues place, and Ben High Chaparral on Gratiot. Okay. They used to have all them groups coming there.
And y'all cross paths.
Yeah. And like I say, man, and the ones that got high, we used to, you understand, serve them, you understand, we give it to them.
So, in this case that they talk about what Eddie and 5-0 had went to New York and on their way back. What do you know about that? Because they
got it on paper, right?
Yeah.
Yep. The respect that Eddie had for the police was one of the things that I didn't like. Just because how much money we was getting, you still got to respect the police no matter what. He's speeding, going there, and got stopped going. Police, Trooper Wynn, he understand.
That's just what the paper said.
That's right, Trooper Wynn. He understand stopped him because he was speeding. They going to New York. And he seen 25,000 cash, a bag of money, cash. So they let him go. But when he called in, he told them, see, this is when they told him he was a well-known drug dealer from Detroit. They let him go. He went on. All of them.
What happened with some? I've heard
Richard Pryor, he's another one. You know.
I heard some kind of crazy story. Is it true you have thrown a kilo of cocaine out a window in Las Vegas?
Me and Eddie had got so high one particular time. We both had got paranoid. He in one room, I'm in another room. We had got so high. He called me and tell me, he said, man, somebody following us. I'm looking out the window, waiting for somebody to come through the door. And then he called me and tell me instead, throw it away, man, because they get ready to come in. I threw the cocaine out the window, man, thinking somebody coming in. That didn't happen quite a few times.
And the thing is, now most people, so I guess I'm trying to put in how much money y'all had to be having to be able to be, because y'all was kind of young. Y'all was young. You guys, so when this is going on, y'all was in y'all 20s.
Yeah. They was in their late 20s, I was in my early
20s, right. So you guys they're in their late 20s. You're in your early 20s. And y'all got enough money
to do whatever we wanted to do and buy whatever we wanted to buy.
And getting high, having a silly night, and throwing away a kilo of cocaine, it was just like, oh well.
That was an everyday thing, you know. It really was. And like I say, man, and then we helped a lot of people, man.
Talk about that.
We helped a lot of people, man. We, you understand, bought houses for people, put a lot of people in business. You understand? Eddie was a giving person. Anybody that know him, he was giving. Like I say, people know we used to come through the neighborhood. They would stand on certain corners because they figured we gonna come through there sooner or later. And whenever we do come through, and they out there and he see him, he gonna stop and give him something. It ain't nothing for him to stop to give a person, you understand, $400-500.
Back then.
Back then. You can imagine, like I say, back then, you understand, the biggest Cadillac, it cost you no more than $12,000. The biggest one. The biggest Mercedes 450 SEL back then, $18,000. Rolls Royce, $35,000. Can you see the difference in the way the kind of money is back then it is now?
Right, because now the same with inflation, the same Rolls Royce is $300,000.
That's right.
The same Cadillac about $100,000.
That's right.
Same Mercedes about $200,000, $150,000. Right?
So can you see the difference in the kind of money we was having then back then? How much money was worth then it is now?
I mean, y'all was handling millions.
Right.
In today's money, there would be hundreds of millions.
That's what I'm talking about. And then we had phones in the car, you understand? Back in the early 70s, we had phones in the car.
Yeah, I remember.
And we would go buy 4 or 5 Cadillacs and take them out. The guy used to do all our work, Steve Hopper. He was out on Grossbeck and 12 Mile. He was putting stashes in our cars. We would take brand new Cadillacs. He would break them down and hook them up like, you know, back where them pimps was back in the day with the wheels in the back and all different colors and stuff. We was changing the Cadillac colors when we was buying them. And right after years after that, they started bringing out the same colors that we was putting in the custom shop. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. You're right. Y'all had got so famous, Cadillacs
changing the colors on them
because y'all was buying them and customizing them.
That's
like
right.
You had the pumpkin and
yeah.
You had the, what was the first crowd pleaser?
White checkerwood blood top. You understand? And like I say, the year later, after we was putting those on those cars, General Motors was coming out with, like, you didn't see no orange top on no car back then.
Wow.
And that guy used to work at the Cadillac dealer. His name was Frank Gallo, the guy that put the pin straps on the car. Oh, he got rich. Every time we got cars, he had to strap them up.
Okay. Okay, so Eddie and the crew go to jail late 70s. You done got fortunate enough to...
He didn't go to jail.
Because you with me, but you were with him when he finally got violated.
Yeah. I was on the highway with him. Eddie, he got busted in 71. He kept the whole, I think it's about 30, how many people got indicted? About 33, wasn't it?
32 people indicted.
He paid the lawyer fee, and every year that you don't go in, you had to pay for the bond. He did that from 71 up until 76. That's when they pulled me and him off, me and him and Hucklebuck in Missouri. And that's when they violated him. Because you remember he wasn't supposed to go on out of the state.
Right. And that's when he started his sentence.
That's when he started his sentence, 76.
And then the rest of the crew was about to follow him in.
That's right.
That next year,
right.
77.
Right.
All right. So what do you do now? Your man that had to sit down, and all your crew then got.
I continued doing what I was doing. You understand? I backed up for about a couple of years, but then I still had different connections. I started to deal with another guy. He was well known. He just died. His name was, we call him E.J. That was Ernest Jackson. He was from Alabama.
Was he? He was kind of big in this.
He was a big guy. He stayed in California though, but he served a lot of people in the city of Detroit. He just died recently, a few years ago. And like I said, I continued to do my things, man. A lot of guys that I was dealing with, that was handling pretty good. And then, like I say, Paul Orr, he was a big guy on the east side. He died.
What period was this with Paul?
He just got killed, you understand, in 2000. I'm talking about from 80, because I was dealing with Paul then after Eddie went to jail. This is in 72, but he got killed in 2001, I think.
Okay. So, you keep doing what you're doing, kind of like fall back.
Eddie come home.
Eddie come home.
Come home. Wilder than he was before. Now I'm doing my thing. I'm satisfied. I gave him some money when he came home. We were still cool. I'm always going to be cool with Eddie because we was close. And he asked me, he said, man, I'm finna put something together. Because I used to go all out in Mexico picking up shit. California, all over the United States. That was my thing. He asked me would I make a trip, not knowing that they had a bug in his car. This is when he came home now.
But this is like 83.
80, right. So I told him, yeah. He said, Butch, could you make a trip for me, man? I said, what, Eddie? He said, why don't you go and see if you can get me a rental car. I want you to go down to Mexico where you used to go. I said, it would be no problem. When I said that, that's when I entered the conspiracy, when I agreed to do it.
That's how you ended up on that
That's
case.
how I ended up with that case. And then I wasn't even planning on doing it. Because he wasn't the type of person he don't want to accept. No, I just told him that because I knew I wasn't going to be there to do it. And this when they busted him when he went to Mexico and was coming back. But they still indicted me on that case.